Shortly after the last video, Rochelle took the kits back to the original nesting site. Probably just as well, since the second nest was over my bedroom, and raccoons are crepuscular as well as nocturnal, so the kits were waking me up at dawn, which was much too early. While they were away, though, I examined the original nesting site from below and fixed up the plastic. The corner had been clawed open, so I put a patch there. I only had one rafter to staple the patch to, so I just used duct tape for the other sides. One of the kits stood there and broke through, though. It was crawling around the top of the ceiling tiles for a couple hours before it found its way back up. I then reapplied the patch and put a piece of plywood there, resting one edge on the drywall and the other screwed to the rafter so they wouldn't happen again. Don't come this way. No, don't go this way. I then put the camera back in the first nesting site, but Rochelle seemed to get freaked out by that and moved the kits again. I eventually heard them chittering in the storage area above the garage. Rochelle had been in there before and had ripped up some boxes that were piled up there. I didn't try to put a camera in there, but I did replace the camera on the garage because the infrared had burned out, and that put me right next to the entrance Rochelle had made in the screening along the eaves. And that upset her again, so she moved back to the attic. In some ways, it was probably for the best because Rochelle soon lost the ability to pick the kits up by the scruff of the neck. But that meant that the chasing and wrestling and general noise making at dawn started again. Here's Rochelle seemingly trying to keep the kits away from the first nesting site, kicking up dust and loose fiberglass, making it look like a snowstorm. She's still able to move the kits some by the scruff of the neck, but not very far. Remember that scene from Aliens? Remember that scene from The Shining? Here's Johnny. I don't have a movie reference for this scene, but it was kind of cute. Eventually, Rochelle started taking the kids outside at dusk. I never saw that they made it off the roof. Initially, they couldn't even make it over the rain gutter from the breezeway to the main roof. But their excursions started taking longer and longer, and they became more confident in their movements as time went on. Finally, all 3 kits made it up to the main roof, and I decided it was time to capture them. I baited the have a heart trap with a smushed cherry from the bottom of a bag and caught Rochelle right away, and was even able to transfer into the cage successfully. But from there, she escaped. So I was able to capture Rochelle in the have a heart cage. The handle came loose, which made it difficult to get down, but I was able to attach some ropes to the front and back and swing it over the edge and lower it down to the deck. And I was able to get her into the cage without too much difficulty. Unfortunately, she only stayed in the cage for under an hour. You can see here where I put some white wire. One of the bars is missing, and she was able to stick her head out through the bottom one. So I put the wire on there, which was difficult. As soon as I put the wire into the cage, she grabbed hold of it and pulled on it. But I eventually got it around and was able to tighten it down. I thought that would be fine. But she somehow managed to get out, maybe through there. It seems unlikely, but because I'm sure her shoulders must have been bigger, but somehow she got out. I don't know exactly how, but I'm assuming that she squeezed through here somehow, because even though it's kind of somewhat loose, I don't think there's any other spot that really opens up enough. So I added additional things here, but additional wires to block off the opening, but I don't really know if I'm going to get her in the have a heart cage again or not. So we'll have to see. Rochelle came back that night and got 2 of the kits on the roof, as you can see in this new camera angle that I set up to try to see if the raccoons are using the trees to get up and down from the roof. The 3rd kit was in the attic right below them, and they were chittering back and forth for a bit, and then it came out, and I haven't seen the raccoon since. It's been a couple days, and I've reaffixed the screening and put up chicken wire and hardware cloth along the eaves above the breezeway where they were getting in before. There really isn't room to swing a hammer to nail cable staples in, so I'm not sure if it's secure enough, but maybe I'll revisit this in the fall and when it's cooler and I can stand to wear more protective clothing. I hope you've enjoyed watching the raccoon kits grow up. I know I did, even though I got woken up too early a bunch of times. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.